In my last video, I used my DIY pallet wood jig to square up two sides of this pallet wood. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and put the flat side down and the flat side against the fence to finish squaring up this piece of pallet wood. And then I'm going to cut down this pallet wood into a bunch of pieces for the top of my desk. I've heard some people say that if you're going to cut a big piece of wood like this, you shouldn't do it all in one pass. So I'm going to lower this table saw blade and I'm going to cut this thing in two passes. I'm not sure if it's going to make any difference or if it's just going to be twice as much work. But the one thing for sure is there's only one way to find out, so let's do this. So you put the table saw blade about halfway up the wood and then you run it through. And then you go ahead and raise the table saw blade up to the top of the wood and run it through again. It's supposed to put less pressure on the blade and less pressure on the motor and less pressure on you. So it sounds good. Let's go ahead and see how it does. Well, the wood looks good, but I do see a couple of burn marks on here from the blade, but nothing too big of a deal. To square this off, I'll put the wood in here tight, and then I'll take it out and move it over maybe about 1/8 of an inch, maybe up to 3/8 of an inch, depending on how big the bow is. And then I'll run it through and get it straight. And I'll try the half cut tip again and see how it works. It looks like it's not tight enough, so I'll have to move it over a couple more 1/8 of an inch.
I have measured the mountains and tamed the time.
There we go, that did it. Looks like it's cutting now. It also looks like the burn marks were from it sitting too long in the same spot. I got a couple more burn marks on here from the blade.
Back on the battles, there's one that I lost. See when we rise and crash like waves in a storm. Just the sound of your voice in the blue sky pours. And I know that you roll like thunder, but in the lightning strike, it's worth it all for the spark in your eyes. And I don't fear these when we...
Well, look at that. It looks like the half cut tip actually got rid of some of those burn marks. That looks pretty good. I'm impressed. Alright, now I'm going to set it up to a 1/2 inch. That's about as small as I can go. Anything smaller than that is hard to push through between the blade and the fence. So now I'm going to cut everything down into 1/2 inch pieces so that they'll all lay even on the top of my desk. I'm going to try the half cut tip again and see if it works. To save time, I'm going to cut all the boards down halfway before I raise up the blade.
Someday or another it'll come my time. When we rise and crash like waves in a storm. Just the sound of your voice in the blue sky.
There was a little bit of resistance, so I'm going to lower the blade just a little bit to see if it cuts a little bit quicker.
But in the lightning strike, worth it all for the spark in your eye.
Oh yeah, that seemed to do the trick. It's cutting a little bit quicker now. Alright, now I just got to cut up all this wood.
Young forever. Oh. Away now. You find me somehow. See when we rise and crash like waves in a storm. Just the sound of your voice in the blue sky pours. And I know that you roll like thunder.
I think the half cut tip did the trick. The only problem is it's twice as much work. So you'll have to give it a try and decide if it's worth the extra effort or not.
And I don't fear these when we come together. on forever.
Alright, it looks like I'm making some progress here. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting up this wood, and if all goes well, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll start the next part of this project. If you're watching this video in the future, you can check out my pallet wood projects playlist and see how this project turned out.